On January 18, 2005, the Game released his debut studio album under Aftermath, G-Unit, and Interscope Records. We're talking about the documentary, which debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200, selling 586,000 copies in its first week. By March 2005, it was certified double platinum, and by November, it had sold 2.5 million copies in the US. With tracks like Hate It or Love It, How We Do, West Side Story, Church for Thugs, Higher, and Put You on the Game, this is undeniably one of the greatest hip-hop albums of all time. It cemented Game as one of the top West Coast rappers. But before all this success, he was already making music. And today, we'll dive into his story before Dre and his debut album. Jason Taylor was born on November 29, 1979, in Compton, California. He had a rough childhood. At age 7, he was placed in foster care. At 13, one of his older brothers was shot and killed at a gas station. At 15, Game left the foster system and moved in with his mom, but their relationship was rocky. In high school, Game played sports like basketball and track. But in 1999, he was expelled after getting caught with drugs. In the early 2000s, he got involved with drug dealing and gang activity. Before any fame, Game even appeared on a dating show called Change of Heart, where he was rejected on national TV. His journey into rap began in October 2001, after he was shot 5 times and spent 3 days in a coma. After recovering, he told his brother to buy all the classic hip-hop albums. For 5 months, he studied the greats like Nas, Dr. Dre, Big Daddy Kane, and Eazy-E, forming a plan to become a rapper himself. On February 14, 2002, the Game attended a hip-hop conference organized by Louis Farrakhan, a well-known U.S. political activist. The event gathered around 400 underground rappers. Farrakhan spoke about unity and collaboration in the underground scene, encouraging artists to work together and help each other rise. During the conference, the Game freestyled with Ta'is Tadaz, then formed by Trey D, Goldilocks, and Snoop Dogg, although Snoop wasn't there that day. Game's freestyle caught the attention of rapper and producer JT the Bigga Figa, who was impressed by his voice, flow, and street-themed lyrics. JT said Game sounded like Shine, had Fabulous's flow, and rapped like a Compton gang member. Game had no demo, no manager, and no deal. JT didn't offer a contract, but promised to promote him and cover the costs of recording. That's how Game became part of Get Low Records, without being signed officially.
Yo, I'm gangster. You can tell by the rag. Pull my pants up. You can tell by I'm set. Oh, let's do it. I'm just trying to. I'm gonna try to freestyle this one.
That's it.
I'm about to try to freestyle this one. I ain't gonna even double this one, Sean. I'm gonna just freestyle because I ain't gonna even remember it. I'm gangster, nigga. You can tell by the rag. All right, let's do it. Gangster, nigga. You can tell by the rag.
So how'd you find the Game?
I found the Game February 14, 2002. Minister Farrakhan had gave a hip-hop summit about letting artists know about the independent game. And hold on, we was at the Four Seasons Hotel in Beverly Hills, and within the auditorium or this big section conference room, it was 400 rappers in there, and we all waiting to go see Minister Farrakhan and Russell Simmons. So all these different guys having ciphers, different people walking around networking, and the only rapper stood out to me was that dude, the Game. Out of 400 people in this room, I said, this dude right here, this him for us on the West Coast for whatever reason. It just in my mind, and it came true.
Before you even heard him rap?
No, he was rapping.
Okay.
He was rapping for Trey D of the East Siders, Goldilocks from the East Siders. I think it was somebody from the Outlaws was there. Basically, it was a couple rappers, and he was just busting some bars, and they like, oh man. And he was standing here rapping for them. They right here. I'm behind him, looking at him like, this dude, he sound like Shine, but he rapping like Fabulous, but his bars about Compton gang banging. So I'm like, ooh.
Before this, Game had never released any official songs, just freestyles. His first track dropped on May 28, 2002. It was called Time's Up and appeared on Noble Justice, an album by Young Noble from the Outlaws. That was the very first time the game released an official song to the public.
Well, I couldn't do it. It's funny, I done it. Nigga said he can't take it, but look how I run it. I let niggas eat. Now it's time to get my cream, so me and Sean stay straight.
Game's first real steps as a rapper began at Get Low Records. That's where he started writing and releasing music seriously. At the same 2002 conference, Farrakhan also spoke about Tulsa's Black Wall Street, a wealthy black neighborhood destroyed by racist mobs but later rebuilt. Inspired by that speech, Game later founded the Black Wall Street Records, named after the historic district. But that story is for another video.
This my boy from Compton. He came all the way from Compton to feel more than us. Give it up for young Game, man. The kids got them third. And there's the Eagles in the holster. I know the fucking brains on the top of the shoulder. Dog, I keep it gangsta like I'm supposed to. Yeah, starting and something in that all-time version. The game is over. We no good. We so good. All those niggas want drama that bad. Bang heaters that bad. And I rock my rap like an 88 niggas still rocking shag. Put the hundreds in the bag. Or I'm gonna put the Eagles in the helmet. And fifties in the back like dimes in the cab. Make a whistle.
Back to 2002. On October 21st, the game released his first official mixtape, QB to Compton, put together by JT the Bigga Figga. Or the mixtape QB to Compton, JT bought 9 unreleased Nas tracks and combined them with the game's songs, creating the illusion that the two had worked together. They hadn't. The project sold about 5,000 copies and helped build the game's name in the underground scene. JT claims QB to Compton ended up in Dr. Dre's hands, and that this led to the game's signing with Aftermath.
Let me make a mixtape and call it QB to Compton. At the same time, Jay-Z and Nas is going at it. He just dropped Ether, and when Ether dropped, I dropped QB to Compton. So it made it like Game was connected with Nas, but that was me. Game didn't know Nas. I'm the one architect that, and that's how he ended up with his deal with Dr. Dre off that mixtape.
Wow.
5, whatever way, dog, the game get live. Keeping the gangsta in the PD, 50 below. Late night, I'm in Dublins, and I got myself a fall. The hood love me. Hood.
On November 16, 2002, The Game and his half-brother Big Faze released the mixtape You Know What It Is Vol. 1 through their label, Black Wall Street Records. Years later, this same mixtape would be re-released with a different cover, but the same track list. Some sources say it was this mixtape that ended up in Puff Daddy's hands and later in Dr. Dre. JT says it was QB to Compton that got Dre's attention. Others say it was You Know What It Is Vol. 1. It's possible both tapes helped. In 2003, the game officially signed with Dr. Dre, sometime between June and August, according to Aftermath's website. He received a $50K advance, but that money ran out quickly. When the advance was gone, Game called JT and sold him more songs recorded during the Get Low era. This caused serious problems. In 2003, Get Low Records released Live from Compton, a mixtape with tracks from that period. Game's new manager, Jimmy Henchman, was furious about the release. Jimmy Henchman offered JT $75,000 for the remaining songs he had from the game, but JT wanted $250,000. That made things tense. Everyone in the industry knew Jimmy Henchman's reputation, except JT. Despite the pressure, JT continued releasing mixtapes using the material he had bought from Game.
When Game was under Jimmy Henchman, and Jimmy Henchman was calling my phone personally, telling me, hey, look, homie, I don't know what you got going on with Game, but that's my artist. I heard you got some stuff with him, and I advise you, don't put that out, homie. It won't be good for you.
Okay.
And I said, good for me? Who is this? Yeah, this is Jimmy Henchman. Now, at this time, I don't really know who he is, but it didn't matter. Then my partner said, nah, he a big-time dude. I said, okay. So I said, let me call you back. So I don't want to call him. Well, he called me back again and was like, yeah, so what's up, homie? You got them game masters. I said, look, bro, I'm from field mode. First of all, I got real killers gave me money in on this to get this project done. If y'all niggas don't want to buy this shit from me, boy, I'm putting this shit out. He said, man, if you put the album out, it's going to be problems for you and they not going to go away. I say, boy, do what you got to do. Nigga, I'm out here starving in my hood right now. So I sat on the dope. I called 50 Cent. Well, I ain't called 50 Cent. I called Young Buck. He put me on the phone with Tony Yayo. Tony Yayo got Shot Money. They're like, hey, the nigga JT, you know, because they just had signed Game through the G Unit, Umbrella, Dr. Dre, Aftermath, and then Interscope. So once that happened, I knew, let me be respectful. Because I had already went to Dr. Dre Aftermath, and they was like, you got the right paperwork, but this the same songs we already heard that we gave him his deal from. It was from your project. And I'm like, oh, this motherfucker, okay. Boom. So now I'm trying to shop it to 50 Cent and them. Well, 50 Cent and them wasn't cool with Jimmy Henchman anyway. So when 50 Cent like, bro, that's your shit, man, do your shit. I said, oh, man, then I'm finna go get me a deal. But Jimmy Henchman keep calling my phone. Then now I found out like, hey boy, he could get you killed. I said, I'm so broke, I don't give a shit about that. I'm putting this shit out.
Right, because for those who don't.
So he came back, and that's when I was able to buy some more songs and get him to sign the work for hire agreement.
Okay.
And that is the moment that I was able, I said a few months later, he did the song with Jim Jones.
Certified Gangsters.
He did that, and then boom, his buzz was going up,
Yeah.
and that's when I went to Aftermath. And then at the Aftermath, I went to G Unit.
Right.
And then in the midst of talking to G Unit, that's when Jimmy Henchman was calling. Because they like, JT got the real masters, and I paid for this. They offered me $75,000. I said, I want $250,000, or I ain't budging. Well, you only spent $12,000, so what? I believed in him first.
In a recent Vlad TV interview, the Game said he still has love for JT.
Now, before you actually dropped your album, JT put out The Untold Story.
Right.
Did that piss you off?
No, that was the demo.
Okay, but the fact that he commercially released it before your album.
No, I wasn't tripping because I had love for JT for, and still got love for him. It's like a love-hate relationship with me and him because he feel like he don't get enough props, for, helping kickstart my career. But I always get this nigga his props when he deserve them. Some of the shit that he tried to take credit for is just absurd.
In 2003, the Game appeared in 50 Cent's In Da Club video. There's no exact date for when he officially joined G Unit, but it was still in 2003. It's no secret that the Game never really wanted to be in G Unit. Many people close to the situation have confirmed that. Angelo Sanders, who was A&R at Aftermath at the time, said the Game always wanted to be a solo artist from the beginning, but still embraced the G Unit idea once it was pushed onto him. Shaw Money XL said, when we were working on Get Rich or Die Tryin', Game was chilling in the studio with Dr. Mike Lynn introduced us to this kid from Compton. He was young and humble, just trying to make it. I listened and told 50, yo, this kid's got something. 50 started listening and liked him. We thought, this could be our West Coast guy. Jimmy Iovine pushed the idea on 50 and he agreed. That's how Game joined the team. On August 13, 2003, G Unit Radio Part 3, Taking It to the Streets dropped, featuring Game on the track So Hard.
In Brooklyn, playing CeeLo, call me NY Game. Gucci, Chuck Taylor, black diamonds in my chain. G Unit, I write it on your vest or spray painted on the.
So Hard was the Game's first G Unit song. It was supposed to be on the Beg for Mercy album, but was removed at the last minute. Still, it's a dope track. In November 2003, G Unit released Beg for Mercy. Game didn't appear on the album, but showed up in almost every music video. By May 2004, the Game was already on the cover of XXL magazine alongside Dr. Dre, Busta Rhymes, and Eve, showing he was a major Aftermath promise.
Here's a little story I like to tell about an article I read in the Double XL.
In June, he appeared on Lloyd Banks' debut album, The Hunger for More, on the song When the Chips Are Down, a fire track. G Unit continued their mixtape series with G Unit Radio Part 6, Motion Picture Shit, released in April 2004. It had unreleased and exclusive tracks from 50 Cent, Banks, Buck, Game, and even Snoop. G Unit Radio, Part 7, King of New York, hosted by DJ Who Kid, dropped on May 6, 2004. Game appeared on track 3, Don't Push Me Peasy, with 50 Cent. Then, on July 29, 2004, G Unit Radio Part 8, The Fifth Element dropped, hosted by DJ Who Kid and Steve-O. The mixtape focused mainly on the Game. The music video for Certified Gangstas by Jim Jones, featuring the Game and Cam'ron, was officially released on July 19, 2004. It was the lead single from On My Way to Church. Also in 2004, Game appeared on I Love Da Hood with Young Buck, from the mixtape Welcome to the Hood, released May 31 by DJ Who Kid. The Game dropped the mixtape Who Got Game under Aftermath, featuring big names. The highlight was Get It, featuring Jay-Z and Dr. Dre. That track sparked beef between Jay-Z and Game. Jay didn't like that Game released the song on a mixtape. He clapped back in February 2005 with a freestyle full of subliminals.
I put my verse on y'all records and all that. I won 700%. Yeah, I put my verse on y'all records. I won 700%. I'm coming in for 700%. Now I put my verse on your records, alright? Yeah, young guns, set it off. M-Easy, it's like that. Get 'em home. Greatest. You playing the bang, I'm playing the bang too. You saying my name, it's hold on.
Game also featured on Stomp, a track from Young Buck's album Straight Outta Cashville, released August 4th, 2004. That same year, he appeared in the 2004 documentary Life in a Day, the DVD, which followed rappers' daily lives with footage of studio sessions, interviews, shows, and more. In September 2004, Game dropped the mixtape West Side Story, which helped boost his association with G-Unit and Aftermath. The single West Side Story, featuring 50 Cent, officially dropped on September 28, 2004, debuting at number 93 on the Billboard Hot 100. The track West Side Story served as the lead single from the documentary and was produced by Dr. Dre and Scott Storch. It was released under Aftermath, G-Unit, and Interscope. While Snoop Dogg isn't listed as a feature, he contributed backing vocals and interludes, marking his first official collab with Game. On October 5th, 2004, JT the Baiga Figga released Untold Story Vol. 1 via Get Low Records. JT admitted he knew the documentary was on the way and decided to drop this mixtape first. Everyone knew Jimmy Henchman's reputation, except JT, which is probably why he went ahead with the release. The single How We Do, featuring 50 Cent, dropped on October 30th, 2004. Produced by Dr. Dre and Mike Elizondo, it debuted at number 65 on the Billboard Hot 100 and quickly rose to number 4, staying on the chart for 28 weeks. It became Game's first top 10 hit. After that single, the Game announced the documentary's release date, January 18, 2005, via a DVD that featured a trailer for the album. Also worth noting is the unofficial remix of How We Do that included Tupac's vocals. That remix became a street banger when it leaked online.
In a 6-1 Chevy, still heavy in this game. Can you feel me? Blame it on my mama, I'm a thug nigga before the sun rise, quicker than the drug deal.
In October 2004, Game voiced the character B-Dup in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, released on the 26th. On November 9, 2004, the mixtape A Devil's Advocate dropped, a collab between New Jersey Devil, DJ Vlad, and The Game. Game praised G-Unit, but said he'd focus more on artists from Black Wall Street. That same mixtape featured Game's first diss toward Ja Rule on the track New York, New York, showing he was aligned with G-Unit. Around this time, rumors started that Game couldn't write hooks. 50 Cent often repeated this, but by 2004, Game had released multiple singles and features, proving otherwise. On November 2004, Game dropped the Charge It to the Game mixtape. By then, the hype around the documentary was huge. He also joined the Boost Mobile campaign alongside Kanye West and Ludacris. Their song Where You At became a commercial anthem in hip-hop and one of the most iconic ads ever.
White tees with Air Ones in every color like iced tea. I might be like crazy. Compton's right knee. The way I paint pictures with these hip-hop scriptures.
A fan-made image falsely claimed Game was part of the XXL freshman class of 2004, but the magazine only started that series in 2007. Still, it was a good edit. Around this time, Game recorded an early version of Dreams, though the final version would later be considered stronger.
2001, 5 years later the war is done. My brother never coming home, and my mother lost her oldest son. Why should I go to...
It was also during this period that Game got his infamous butterfly tattoo on his face. That ink made him the subject of lots of jokes and criticism. In November 2004, he released the Chronicles mixtape in partnership with Big Fuzz 100, his brother and co-founder of Black Wall Street. On December 18, 2004, Game released You Know What It Is? Vol. 2, Throwin' Rocks at the Throne, his final mixtape before the documentary. In this series, I won't cover Game's beefs with 50 Cent or anyone else. In 2005, Game dropped a lot of music, but in this video, we'll focus only on the documentary. The rest of the 2005 releases will be discussed in Part 2. The album was originally titled Niggas Wit Attitude Volume 1, but Dr. Dre decided to change the name. And finally, on January 18, 2005, The Game dropped the documentary. When it hit stores and first week numbers came in, nearly 600K sold, it was clear the West Coast was officially back. Sadly, not long after, Game's time with G-Unit ended due to escalating tensions with 50 Cent. As the beef intensified, people started questioning how much Dre actually produced, how much help 50 gave, and how much of it Game did on his own. Regardless of the drama, the documentary remains one of the greatest rap albums of the 2000s. The deluxe edition of the album included a behind-the-scenes DVD and the bonus track Till the Wheels Fall Off featuring Mr. Porter.
Candy paint, low riding 22s, run up on my old school, see what the semi do. Hop out, corner store, grab me a OE. White.
And that wraps up part 1 of our deep dive. In the next episode, we'll cover everything Game dropped in 2005 and what came after this iconic debut.
Reasonable doubt, smoke chronic, you hear the doggy style before I go out. Until they sign my death certificate, all eyes on me. I'm still at it, illmatic.
Intro produced by Dr. Dre, Che Vicious. The Game, we had already finished the album, sequenced the tracks, and Dre said, "Now we need an intro." I said, "An intro? I'm out of rhymes." And he said, "No, I'll find something that fits perfectly before West Side Story." I thought it would be easy, but it took a whole month. Dre went through like 30 samples to find the right one. He's very demanding, but when he finds what he wants, it's always the best. He kept testing sounds, syncing them, and they all sounded good to me. But when he found the one, he was satisfied. I have no idea who the guy speaking on the intro is. Never met him. Laughs, Dre probably took that from The Price is Right or something. Laughs. That's the doc. West Side Story, feat 50 Cent. Produced by Dr. Dre, Scott Storch. The Game. West Side Story was supposed to be on the All About the Benjamin soundtrack, but Dre said, "This is too heavy for a soundtrack. It was written in 2002 and I never went back to finish it." We just left it. When 50 came around, he heard the track and wrote the hook. None of those songs were 50s. He came in when the album was nearly done and just added that 50 Cent touch. I wasn't even part of G-Unit yet. I didn't write a hook because I thought it'd be just a soundtrack cut. Figured Dre would come up with something. But he liked the verses and put 50 on it. 50 was good at melodic hooks. He'd write based on what the beat told him. Not emotional like most rappers, just effective. Mike Lynn, Aftermath, Interscope, Executive. This was the first track Dre and Game did together. 50 wasn't involved yet. The song was all Game. What 50 brought was his talent for hooks. Game was still developing in that area. Game's hooks were more street, while 50's were radio ready. We were trying to bridge that gap, but Game got much better with hooks later on. Dreams, produced by Kanye West. The Game, I met Kanye at a big party Nelly threw at Niketown. After the party, someone came up like, "There's this guy named Kanye West who wants to freestyle with you?" I'd heard of him, thought he was just a producer. He walked up in tight jeans, Nike hoodie, and Air Max. I was like, "This the guy?" We freestyled. And if I ever lost a battle, that was it. Kanye crushed me, girls laughing and all. It was tough. Later, we freestyled again on Melrose, and I was ready. Me and Kanye go way back. If anything happens to him, I'll ride for him. One day, Kanye called me. "You won't believe it, Game. I found an insane sample. It's called Dreams." He talked about his dreams and sent me the beat. He came to LA, we hit the studio, and I wrote the first verse. People liked it so much they pressured me to finish. But I got stuck. Had writer's block for 2 months. One day something clicked. I sat on the couch with an old CD player listening to the beat for hours. Then the words just came. Dreams was one of the first songs I recorded at Aftermath. Mike Lynn. One day, Game said he was ready to drop the album. We asked him to play it. When we listened, we said, "This isn't it." The only track from that batch that made the final cut was Dreams. Everything else came after. When I played Dreams for Dre, he realized, okay, this guy can make an album. Before that, it sounded like a mixtape. That's when Dre got excited and started working with him more. Hate It or Love It, feat 50 Cent. Produced by Cool and Dre. The Game, When I first heard the beat, I called Cool and Dre and said, "This is the best beat I've ever heard in my life." I was in New York. I wrote my verses fast and sent it to Dre. 50 was in the studio with him. Dre told 50, "You need to be on this too." He recorded the hook and his verses and sent it back. I thought it was perfect. I didn't want to change anything. It became one of the biggest records of my career. The beat had a soul vibe, and that's why I opened with "Coming Up." I was confused. It felt emotional. I told Cool and Dre, "Y'all changed my life with this beat." They really did. Higher, produced by Dr. Dre, Mark Batson, Mike Elizondo. The game, Dre and I were in the studio, and he played the beat. It felt dark, heavy. He said, "Don't just rap, elevate this." I wrote Higher in one take. The first verse just came out. Dre loved it, told me not to touch it again. We did the hook together. He said, "Higher," in that voice. That was all Dre. People always ask if it's about weed. Laughs? I mean, maybe. But to me, Higher was about escaping, getting out of the streets, rising above. It's one of those tracks that captures the Dre magic. How We Do, feat. 50 Cent. Produced by Dr. Dre, Mike Elizondo. The Game, this was the first single. I remember when Dre played the beat, 50 jumped on it right away. We recorded our verses the same night. 50 said, "Let's keep it simple. Party, women, cars." I followed that. Some people criticized it for being commercial, but that was the point. We needed a hit. Dr. Dre told me, "You've proven you can rap. Now let's show you can make hits." The song blew up. It hit the clubs hard. Everywhere I went, people shouted, "This is how we do." 50 gave it that magic. No matter what happened later between us, that song is a classic. Mike Lynn. There was a lot of tension between 50 and Game at that time, even during the album. But on How We Do, they clicked. You could hear the chemistry. That track helped both of them. Game was the new West Coast face. 50 was dominating. Together, it woke. Don't Need Your Love, feat. Faith Evans. Produced by Havoc. The Game. I was a big fan of Mobb Deep. Havoc sent this beat, and I immediately thought of Faith Evans. I'd never met her, but I knew her voice would fit perfectly. We reached out, and she came to the studio. Super professional, humble. When she started singing, it gave me chills. This song was about the pain that comes from fake love, people only coming around when you're successful. Faith nailed that feeling in the hook. She gave it soul. We were trying to show vulnerability, especially after the harder tracks like How We Do. Church for Thugs. Produced by Just Blaze. The Game. Just Blaze gave me this beat when I went to New York. When I first heard it, I didn't know what to do with it. It had that gospel feel, but also hard drums. Then I started thinking about the contradiction of street life and religion. That's how Church for Thugs came to me. It's like, even gangstas believe in something. Even thugs pray sometimes. That was the message. Just Blaze was on fire at that time. And I wanted something East Coast to balance the album. No, Put You on the Game. Produced by Timbaland, Danja. The Game. This track came toward the end of the album. We were wrapping things up and needed something with bounce. Timbaland played me the beat and said, "This one's yours if you want it." I told him, "Let's go." I wrote to it on the spot. The hook? "I'm the doctor's advocate," was a way of saying I'm the next in line after Dre. The energy was crazy. When I performed it live, the crowd went wild every time. Even people who didn't like me respected that beat. Start from Scratch. Feat. Marsha Ambrosius. Produced by Dr. Dre, Scott Storch. The Game. This was the most personal track. I was going through a lot. Lost friends, had regrets, felt the weight of fame. I told Dre I needed to vent. He said, "All right, no hook, just you and your thoughts." Then Marsha came in and added vocals later. It's about wishing you could undo things. Mistakes. Pain. If I could start from scratch, I would change a lot. We recorded this late at night. Mood was heavy. I even cried after the session. Marsha's voice gave it a haunting feel. She didn't just sing, she felt it. The documentary, produced by Jeff Basker, High Tech, The Game. This was the title track. I wanted to tell my story, where I'm from, how I grew up. It's like a mission statement. No hook, just bars. I was proud of that one. It was raw, honest. High Tech gave me the beat. Dre helped structure it. I laid the verses like chapters in a book. I felt like I owed it to Compton to document the real. That's why we called the album The Documentary. This track explains why. Runnin', Feet, Tony Yayo. Produced by Jonathan J.R. Wrote 'em. The Game. I remember when J.R. played me this beat. It had urgency. Sounded like you were being chased. I wanted to rap like I was running from something. The streets, my past, maybe even myself. Yayo came in and did his verse quick. We vibed that day. No More Fun and Games. Produced by Just Blaze the Game. Another Just Blaze heater. I told him I needed something that sounds like a war anthem. He sent me this beat and I went crazy. It was my way of saying, the game's here. No more fun. I'm taking over. When that beat drops, still gives me goosebumps. It's like every West Coast battle cry wrapped into one song. We Ain't. Beat Eminem. Produced by Eminem. The Game. I was nervous to work with M, but he made me feel comfortable. He produced the beat and told me, just be yourself. We recorded in Detroit. I went first. He sat back, listening. Then he got in the booth and destroyed it. When I heard his verse, I said, damn. He raised the bar. It's one of my favorite collabs ever. Where I'm From. Feat Nate Dogg. Produced by Dr. Dre, Mike Elizondo. The Game. I wanted to make something for my hood. CPT. Dre said, let's bring in Nate. I was like, hell yeah. Nate came in and laid that hook in 10 minutes. Smoothest session ever. I just rapped about my upbringing, my block, my people. It wasn't meant to be a radio track. It was for the streets. Special. Feat Nate Dogg. Produced by Dr. Dre, Mike Elizondo. The Game. This was like the love song of the album, but not soft. It was more about that ride or die type of woman. Nate sang the hook like he always did, with heart. It was different from the rest of the album, gave it balance. Even gangstas have love lives. Don't Worry. Feat Mary J. Blige. Produced by Scott Storch. The Game. Mary is a legend. I've always been a fan. When Scott Storch played me the instrumental, I immediately thought of her. We reached out and she said yes right away. We recorded together in Los Angeles. Her presence in the studio was magical. This track was meant to show a different side of me. That even with all the pain, there's still hope. Mary brought real emotion. Her voice gave life to the song. The message was clear. Don't worry, you'll get through it. The song is about moving forward, about not letting the pain define you. It brought balance to the album, something more uplifting, more soulful. And having Mary on this one, that was a dream come true. Like Father, Like Son, Feat Busta Rhymes. Produced by Focus. The Game. This was about my son Harlem. He was born while I was recording the album. That changed me. Busta came in and did his part with passion. I cried when I recorded it. My whole life changed because of Harlem. I wanted him to know, no matter what, that I love him. That's why it's the last track. It ends the album on a human note. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like to support the channel. And part 2 is coming soon.